Yeah, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Awesemo.com NFL Showdown live before lock, presented by No House Advantage. I'm Dave Lochran, and along with me, as always, it's Ben Rasa at JazzRaz DFS, jack of all trades, master of many, one might say, and Alex Baker, number one ranked DFS player out there at Awesemo DFS. Alex, back from Miami. Time to talk Thursday night football. Niners, Titans. What's good, brother?
What's up, guys? Yeah, I was hoping that I could win the 2.5 million, and then you probably wouldn't have seen me on these shows. But here we are grinding, and there's some pretty good prizes today, so it should be a fun one.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, you'd just be out. I mean, look, I credited you. You did the deeper dive on Sunday morning for almost 2 hours. So you should have had some good karma come your way.
I know, yeah. I thought karma was going to carry me there, but yeah, I must have done some really bad things in other parts of the year. So we'll try to be better next year.
What's good, Ben? How we feeling, brother?
Yeah, feel good. A little Thursday night football. Just watched a horrendous bowl game during the afternoon. Some bad teams. So this is a weird one. You got two teams. Obviously, you don't see these guys play each other a lot, but I'm actually pretty interested in this matchup, not just from a DFS perspective, but also from a betting perspective. It's a good one tonight.
Yeah, no question. And you look at a spot like this, Ben, and it's every time we break down a showdown slate or a single game, there's always different strategy that's applied to it. Whereas with this one, you've got on one side, you get AJ Brown back, coming off his first game since week 11. And then you have Julio Jones, who somehow wasn't even on the injury report yesterday, which is shocking. I thought there was no way this guy plays after re-aggravating his hamstring for the 5th time in 5 weeks and 100th time in the past couple of years. And then you have a run game where like Foreman is the guy, but Hilliard and McNichols are getting a lot of work. And then on the other side, your leading rusher recently, who has scored 6 times over the last 5 weeks, is Deebo Samuel.
It's, again, the Niners are a team that obviously, I don't want to say they've turned the corner. They've shown flashes, but they're just operating in such a unique offense. And that's one of the many themes. I was talking this morning on the Awesemo Odds channel about like, who would be a Cordero Patterson, but obviously Deebo is to me a much more elite player. There's just not that many guys where the production is this distinct and coming from a receiver like that. It's one of the many wrinkles that we just don't really talk about throughout the year. And I can't remember San Francisco on an island game recently, Laffy. I mean, when have we talked about them on like a Thursday this year?
That's a great question. You would think a lot more often than we have. Alex, yeah. When's the last primetime Niners game we've had? Did they play the Packers at one point, maybe?
Damn, I can't remember. It definitely wasn't on Thursday, but yeah. Deebo being a kind of running back now, it doesn't make any sense to me because he was like playing at a superstar level before they started using him as a part-time running back. And it's just like, why do that?
Right. That's what, dude, the guy was second he led the league in yards after the catch through the first 9 weeks. He was second in total yards. He was like, you could run through all of his stats and you go, yeah, this guy's a phenomenal receiver. And they go, better running back though. And then they just start feeding him carries. It's nuts. But I tweeted this today. Only Jonathan Taylor has more rushing touchdowns than Deebo since week 10. So I don't know what to make of this team. Was the Minnesota-San Francisco game primetime? No,
I don't remember. Oh, the Rams and the Niners were, but that was on a Monday. I don't even remember that game, to be honest.
Okay, so like a month and a week ago or something. It's not. I don't remember that either.
Yeah.
Who knows? Oh, that was the game they smoked the Rams.
They crushed them.
That, where Wilson had like 27 carries. I remember that vividly now, actually. Yeah,
I don't. But
no,
it's all a blur.
Yeah. I remember it, and I think there was a pick 6 or something, whatever. But anyway, we're here now, and we're talking about it with the Niners 3.5-point favorites, 24.5-point implied total against Tennessee, 21-point implied total in Tennessee. They get some reinforcements, though, which is good. They haven't had A.J. Brown and Julio Jones on the field together in quite some time now, Alex, but let's kick it off with the San Francisco 49ers. The only big, real significant injury news here is you're down Eli Mitchell. And without Eli Mitchell, you've seen a lot of work go to Deebo. And last week, you saw a lot of work go to Jeffrey Wilson. I think you probably see more of that again tonight as field goal plus favorites on the road. What are you doing with a guy in Wilson? And let me set the table here. This isn't just a normal question and like, oh, hey, what are you doing with the starting running back? The problem is DraftKings specifically forgot to price him like a starting running back. So now you have him legitimately priced as the backup behind Eli Mitchell at 5,200.
Nice. Yeah. I think, well, from a points per dollar standpoint, he's a great play, Jeff Wilson, but he is one of the most game script dependent players in football because he really doesn't catch passes out of the backfield. I know Deebo Samuel and Jermichael Hasty will play on the passing downs, and they just don't target running back very much in general. So you're going to need him to get there rushing the ball. So if San Francisco has a game where they're behind a lot of the game, Jeff Wilson's unlikely to perform well. But if they're up a lot of the game, then Jeff Wilson is absolutely going to crush. So he's a great points per dollar play, but you can kind of use the game script to your advantage and build lineups that should cater to his run for, or like only running scoring.
Yeah, Matt and I talked about this morning on the strategy show that like obviously Wilson is a good play at that price point. There's no real denying that. Yes, 5,200. It makes a lot of sense. He's in a good spot. People are going to get there. He's going to be pretty high owned, but he's not automatic. There is a path in a spot like this where Jeff Wilson doesn't get there. And you only have to look back 2 games where he was the starter against Cincinnati, 13 for 56, didn't get in the end zone. Deebo Samuel's getting a lot of that red zone rushing work as well. So I definitely think there are 2 distinctive ways to look at targeting or getting away from Jeff Wilson today, depending on what game script you're playing for, like Alex was talking about.
Yeah, there's for a guy that's mispriced, there's a lot of ways you can go here because he is the classic, like, I don't really have a term for this, but it's just like you take his yards on the ground, you move the decimal point, and that's his total points, like 56 rushing yards, 5.6, because he does nothing else. And if he doesn't score, that's all you're going to get.
On OddsShopper, we have him well under 1.5 receptions where his prop is at today, like you said.
Yeah, and it's just a situation where he may be drawing just to rushing yards, and it's almost impossible to really get there with just rushing yards. You need to either score or do something else. The one thing that works in his favor, and Alex kind of talked about this in my opinion already, if he has a huge game, I think the total fantasy points in this entire game will be much lower because it means that they're just dominating on the ground. There's not going to be passing volume on that side. So he's really good in that regard. Like when he has a big game, he cripples a lot of other options. So you can build a really strong narrative if you think that Jeff Wilson has a big game.
Could you see like Jeff Wilson, 49ers defense, 100%. Kicker type stuff? Yeah.
Yeah, just low scoring, ugly. San Francisco is playing from ahead. They're just leaning on the running game. He's getting the 2 touchdowns in this whole game, and they really just crush him and lean on that. That's definitely a scenario we could see tonight.
Alex, do you agree that there could be Jeff Wilson's success? It's not limited to, but could certainly come in the form of them getting ahead. I mean, honestly, we just talked about that Rams game where Eli Mitchell ran 27 times, right? And that was one where they just throttled the LA Rams all game. It does feel like that would be the best avenue for Wilson to get those amount of carries that you need to kind of really get you where you need to go.
For sure. And San Francisco is definitely a team that runs the football. They're second in the league in neutral game script running at 50.6%. So their go-to strategy is running, and Jeff Wilson is the guy that's going to get the bulk of the carries. So everything's shaping up well. It's just that if their game plan doesn't work at the start of the game and Tennessee gets up big, they could deviate from that.
Where are you going, Alex, with Deebo? It's we talked about it at the time. It's so strange, man. Like he was He has a 13% target share since week 10. 13%. He was 32%, second highest in all of the NFL through the first 9 weeks of the season. But through the first 9 weeks, he also had 6 total, not 6 a game, 6 total carries. He has 33 carries over his last 5 weeks and at least 1 rushing touchdown in 5 straight games. How do you account for what's going on with him right now?
Well, I think that we got to look at the snaps. He's getting about 10 to 15 snaps a game at running back. And San Francisco doesn't target running backs very much. So I'm kind of writing those off as a low target share snap. But he's getting those rushing yards. So that is compensating for that. But he still does play like 75% of his snaps at wide receiver. So I'm looking at that. I'm like, okay, he's going to get targeted about 1/4 of the time when he's out there at wide receiver. It's been super fluky that he hasn't been targeted as much over the past few weeks. Like to a large level, like you're saying, he's only targeted like 13% over those last 4 weeks, which is crazy. But I think that is like pretty random and not likely to continue.
It feels that way. And I will say, I got in on the, we got the parlay builder at Awesemo, Ben, and we got Metu yesterday, just crushed that prop, soared over it in the first half. So I'm good there. But one of the props that I do have today, based on the parlay builder, which is the easiest thing in the world to use, and it's awesome. You could be pissed drunk and still place a winning bet. Try and I don't recommend that. I wasn't. I was 100% sober. What I'm saying is that's how easy it is to use. It's a pretty good endorsement when you think about it. Right?
Not bad, especially for the holidays. Yeah.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Good looking
like,
out.
as long as you don't fat finger it, you don't have to do any research. You don't have to play smart. But I got Deebo Samuel under 33.5 rushing yards today because I'm with Alex. I don't know if they continue to run him at this clip.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on kind of the flip side of it in the sense that I just like his over on receiving yards quite a bit tonight. And I think we're going to see positive regression.
Wouldn't that be on the same side as me?
Well, just in the sense of, I think you can attack the same mindset 2 different ways is kind of what I was saying. Like if they go together, they correlate fine. Right. Instead of picking the under on his rushing.
I got you. You're hitting. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You're confident in the over on receiving.
Exactly. But same mindset. I think we see him get back to being a prolific receiver and the target should be there. This is a competitive game, healthy implied total. His yards after, he was ridiculous all year when he was catching the ball, breaking away. So I think that he's just fantastic. They can utilize him in so many ways, but I think we see him back in business in the pass catching department tonight.
I would think so as well. Alex, how much captain Deebo do you think you're going to have?
Well, I think he's a great captain, especially kind of with that running. He gets a nice bump there because he scores those points by himself. And I guess Jimmy G isn't really a guy that people are going to be rostering at captain, but he could sneak in there at optimal. But he's not my favorite though. In our top stack simulation, we have Kittle as being about twice the chance of being the top scoring player on today's slate. And while Deebo has been good, Kittle has been just like ridiculous recently. So that makes sense. Kittle's averaged like almost 30 points over the last 3 weeks.
Chris Hughes with a super chat. Can you guys wish my mom, Susie Hughes, a Merry Christmas? She's a 73-year-old DFS all-star who watches every single live before lock. What do you think about that, Alex?
Wow. Yeah. Susie, Merry Christmas. That's pretty awesome that she's in here with us every live before lock.
That's right, Ben. Merry Christmas, Susie.
Of course. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to everyone out there. That's very, very cool though.
And yeah, I got him. I was waiting on the hundo.
Yeah.
View boy. I always pronounce it wrong, but thank you, bro. Appreciate you, man. He's $100 super chat. Thanks to the entire Awesemo team for an amazing NFL content season. Also, best non-sports content around. Thanks, dude. Serial double stack with a taser bring back. Yeah, So Matt Gajeski told us yesterday on the strategy show. We also did a serial off where you had the name serial go around until somebody failed. And of course, Gajeski just completely bombed it.
I'm glad I wasn't on that. I would have been last.
I don't think I could get beat by anyone in the world. Even someone that works at Kellogg's, I think I'd smoke. But he told us that he made a bet with his buddy when Cooper Kupp was, what did he go to Eastern Washington? When Cooper Kupp was coming out of school, that if he ever had 1,000-yard season, he would let his buddy tase him. So that didn't work out. This isn't even his first 1,000-yard season, but yeah.
So did he get like annually tased or what?
No, I think he said his buddy's just waiting for the right time.
All right.
I met Vu in Miami, and he's an awesome guy. He actually finished 9th in the WFFC, so
nice.
Took home 150K. Congrats to Vu.
That's awesome, dude. Congratulations. That's huge. The People's Champ 2007. Should I play Jeff Wilson or Michael Carter this week? Full P. Okay, season long. Full PPR. I'd still go Wilson. That's tough, but I think I'd lean Wilson. I think I'd probably lean Wilson there. Do you guys have any read on that?
It's Wilson,
Jeff Wilson or Michael Carter.
Damn, I'd play both unless your roster is super stacked. That's a tough one.
Yeah, it is.
But we do have our start sit rankings on the site, so make sure to check those out.
Oh yeah, there you go. Start sit rankings right on awesemo.com. That'll make your life a little easier. Thanks for the super chat though. Ben, talk to me about George Kittle, the most dominant tight end right now on the planet. Yeah, I said it.
Yeah, he is. He's unbelievable. When he is healthy, he's absolutely unstoppable. Obviously, you're paying a premium, but it's going to be interesting to see if Deebo returns to normal on the outside. Do those targets come out of someone like George Kittle? Because he's had a couple massive games. He had 15 targets against Cincinnati, 12 against Seattle in 2 of the last 3 weeks. And Deebo was relatively quiet in those games. So obviously Kittle's outstanding. You can use him at captain. You can use him anywhere. But I am interested to see how the target share looks if Deebo Samuel's really busy in the passing game again.
So, yeah, I'm with you. And I think ultimately when it comes to somebody like George Kittle, Alex, it's not about do you play him or do you like him? It's how often or how much are you playing him and how much captain are you getting, as you alluded to earlier. So I guess you could answer that question right now. How much captain are you getting to George Kittle?
I mean, Kittle's definitely one of the top captains, if not the top captain tonight. I think there's a lot of question marks around the other good players in this game. With Deebo as kind of that running back, maybe reducing his upset a little bit. Then you have AJ Brown, who's coming off that injury. So those would be 2 of the guys that really could contend for that top captain. But Kittle, with no reason to doubt him, I think he's kind of the obvious guy to have confidence in.
I don't have any argument there. I'll get to those super chats in a second. Thank you, but we'll get there in a second, trying to get through some of this stuff here. I mean, we have the top stack tool as well. The top single game showdown plays tool, which is basically top stack tool, but for showdowns. And, you know, George Kittle just grades out really nicely here to still have a positive leverage score at that price, 29% top play probability. That one almost surprised me a little bit, Ben. Almost 30% top play probability on this slate where you do have Deebo and you still have a couple decent players, but he's been that good. He has a 36.5% target share over the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, he's a matchup. I mean, he is that good. We've seen it here when he's come back healthy, and obviously Jim and G and him are going to make a fine connection tonight if you go there. So I have no problem. It's just, you know, again, there's always an opportunity cost, how you allocate if you do go Kittle at captain, but he is going to be someone that it's a scary fade if you don't go there.
It is. I forgot to ask too. Hit that thumbs up if you haven't done so yet. Helps us greatly. Combat the YouTube overlords. Feed that algorithm. If you like this stuff and you haven't done so yet, maybe you forgot. That's okay. Maybe you had a little bit too much to drink. That's okay. Hit that thumbs up now. All is forgiven. Christmas gift to us. And subscribe to the channel. Help us get to Alex's coveted 69,420 subscribers by Christmas. You think we can pull that off in 2 days? We're at 69,200 plus right now.
Yeah, we'll get there.
That's
You
the
think so?
dream. We appreciate you guys. But yeah, I think Christmas is such a big day for DFS. I wouldn't be surprised if we hit it on Christmas for a little
Oh
Christmas
man,
miracle.
we need we need to hit it for Christmas. Make Alex's dreams come true. But give this man a Merry Christmas. If we don't get a screenshot of it while it's exactly on that number, I'm going to be insanely disappointed. All right, we're at 69,220. So we need exactly 200, Tyler. Exactly 200 to get there and make this man's dreams come true. Come on now. Yeah, I don't even care if you unsubscribe after Christmas. Just get us there for Christmas and then do whatever you want after that. All right, can we get, and free stuff. Someone asked, what's any free stuff today? As a matter of fact, yeah, NFL's single game projections. So all of our showdown projections are totally free for tonight. Ben, we've talked about all the top options. All of that makes sense. You want to get to those guys. What about some of these peripheral plays like Kyle Juszczyk, who is the funny thing is the last time I remember San Francisco in a primetime game, I know it was the Rams game, but the one I remember vividly, and I can't remember if it was that one or not, Juszczyk had a huge game and was the guy you needed on your roster. He scored. He had multiple receptions. Big game. Only real one of the season. So you got guys like him. You have Hasty. What if they do fall behind? Does JaMychal Hasty get the pass catching work? You have Jawan Johnson. So none of these guys are exciting. And of course you have Brandon Ayuk as well. Jawan Jennings, I'm sorry. But you have all of those players. How do they come into the mix for you today? How do you prioritize guys like that for large field tournaments?
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously some of it is salary dependent, like Ayuk, he's in that mid-range, upper mid-range, and he's someone, again, I think now that you've got Kittle and Chapper out this stuff, that was my mistake. So, Kittle and Deebo didn't really overlap a ton there, but now you obviously have both of them out there. It's going to be interesting to see where a guy like Ayuk fits into that target share. You've got Jennings, who, his prop, just to give you a frame of reference, is at 21.5 receiving yards. You're only drawing to a couple of targets there, but if you're going to Jimmy G and you want to load up on pass catchers, that's the type of guy that can get there. And then, Kyle Juszczyk is just like the standard showdown guy that, of course, only in island games gets there on some type of fluke play, but we've seen it more than once with him.
The problem for me with Jennings, Alex, is they haven't exactly priced him down. I mean, this guy is the same damn salary as Jeff Wilson today.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he has been out on the field a lot. He's been getting routes on about 2/3 of plays in recent weeks. So that's pretty solid. So definitely someone that should be on your radar.
Who do you like of the non-Kittle, Wilson, Deebo group for San Francisco?
Jennings is pretty solid. I think that you want to look at Juszczyk. He's been running a lot more routes this year than last year. He's out there about 40% of the time. And that might be even higher given that Jeff Wilson is not a great receiving back. So he's targeted about 14% of those. Not anything that's going to blow you away, but he's the definition of a guy that when it's Thursday night, you want to be considering him.
The losers win again. Is 5v1 49ers Titans viable in an 11-man single entry, Ben?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it always depends on who's what, but I think that if I was building some type of onslaught, it would be that way. But you want to keep in mind, again, I think the key to all of this is, what do you think Jeff Wilson does? Because if Jeff Wilson really consolidates, then I don't know how often the onslaught for the Niners makes a ton of sense, just because I think he actually takes a large percentage of the total points. But I definitely don't mind a 5-1 Niners onslaughts, even in a small
The only
field.
thing there is it's an 11-man contest.
Again, honestly, context matters. Like if it's an 11-man winner take all, a lot of those satellites.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
like, I think that's very viable.
Twisted Reality Gaming, with the Titans getting both Julio and AJ Brown back, Alex, is it more likely that a Titans player like Tannehill or AJ Brown is possibly the more likely captain? So I'm assuming he means the more likely optimal captain for today.
Okay, so
so basically he's saying with the Titans getting both Julio and AJ. Yeah, actually, maybe he's saying like Julio takes pressure off of AJ. with the Titans getting both Julio and AJ Brown back, is it more likely that a Titans player like Tannehill or AJ Brown is okay? So, well, I mean, of course, it's more likely that Tannehill is an optimal captain now that he's not throwing to guys that might not deserve to be in the NFL. But yeah.
Yeah, I think that Tannehill, we gotta feel more confident now that those guys are back.
For sure. And thanks for the super chat, man. All right. Anything else you guys want to hit on from San Francisco, Ben or Alex? Defense, kicker, any guys we haven't touched on yet?
I leave the kickers to Alex.
Yeah, I think kicker is always good. San Francisco being the favorite, that'll be the kicker I'd lean towards, but I think there really aren't a lot of guys you can target it besides the ones we mentioned. One exception might be JaMychal Hasty, who does
I mentioned him too, bro.
Oh, you did? Okay.
No, go ahead. I only said his name. I didn't get into analysis.
He's the backup running back, so he's not really gotten any work in the last couple weeks. But if something happened with Jeff Wilson, he'd be the guy to benefit.
For sure. I like guys like Hasty because there's a potential that if they do fall behind, he's already involved. And then if Wilson were to also get hurt or go out of this game, then Hasty's even more involved as the clear next man up. And he's really cheap as well. So I definitely like that. Look, it's not a cash game play. It's not a 50-50. You're playing him in tournaments and hoping that this guy can be relatively low owned. Right now, his ownership, what do we have him projected at? Like 6% ownership. You're not playing him in the captain spot, but could Hasty be fine? Sure. If Juszczyk is a guy that's fine, so is Hasty. Ben, anybody else?
No, I think you've got enough Niners in that, Jennings range that we talked about. I know price-wise, he's not a pure punt, but I don't think you want to dig for like $200 plays on the Niners today. I don't see anything down there.
Did we talk about Ayuk?
So briefly, I think for me with him, I actually shorted him in the prop market. I think that there's an opportunity with Deebo and Kittle and the just possibility that it's a Jeff Wilson ground game. The Niners are not a pass happy team. If they can run the ball, they will. I think there's a lot of ways that Ayuk just has a pedestrian outlook. We saw them dominate Atlanta. He had 2 targets. Now he turned one of them into a 36-yard catch, but I don't think it's impossible that a guy like Ayuk has a really moderate target share tonight in the wrong game script.
No house advantage. Heard of it? Hopefully you have. I don't know. If you haven't, you should use the promo code Awesemo when you sign up to get $25 on your first deposit as a bonus. AWESEMO. It's bringing an entirely different way to play DFS with player prop contests. A ton of props out there. They have an insane menu of props that you can choose from. There's no juice on either side. And it's not like you're just building a parlay. You're building lineups based on the props. The ones you like the most, they go at the top of your lineup. They get rewarded the most points, the ones you're most confident in. And the same goes for the ones you're least confident in. At the bottom of the lineup, they gain or lose the fewest amount of points. Very cool format. And all of this is stuff that like you could talk about other sites at. But the one thing we always dive deep into when it comes to actual profitability or sustaining profit or actually winning on these sites and being a successful player there is the fact that they have static props at No House Advantage. You can't say that at other sites. No House Advantage means, if you're wondering what that means, the props don't change. And you'd obviously first argue, oh, well, if they don't change, then everyone sees that. No, you'd be wrong. There's still an edge there. People are going to miss easy props. They're not going to check them against our player prop tool, which is free, or the No House Advantage projections, the player prop projections at Awesemo that are free every day of the week, or the optimal lineups tool for No House Advantage that is free. All of that stuff. Not everyone playing it at No House Advantage knows about what we have at Awesemo, all of the tools to kind of cross-reference all of these props from other books and from our projections. There's really a lot of ways to get an edge there, and you can't say that for a lot of other sites in this industry anymore. So if there's one reason to play there, it's not just that it's another player prop site. It's that there's still an edge over at No House Advantage, and you should take advantage of that. Big prize pools. There is mass entry capability, and you get $25 when you sign up using the promo code Awesemo, AWESEMO. So take advantage of our tools. Go to nohouseadvantage.com or download it in the App Store or the Google Play Store and start playing, start winning. No House Advantage, sponsor of the Live Before Lock show. All right, Ben, what are we doing at the top of Tennessee? I think we can start with pass catchers. It's going to take us a while to break down this strange backfield.
This is just honestly, I think it's a strange team in general. And again, there's just a lot of unknowns. You know, they're two alphas, AJ Brown and Julio. It's just been one injury after another. We'll see tonight. If you think they're trailing, to me, the easier side to break down is the Niners. And I'm going to base what I do on the Titans directly off what I do in those lineups with my Niners, because I have trouble looking at this team and really projecting what they're doing. So what I'm saying is, okay, if it's a game script where Tannehill, and we've seen this at times, he's going to be dropping back, 40 times, 40 plus times. Well, then obviously a guy like AJ Brown and Julio may be forced into serious action. If not, you've got those three running backs that are hard to decipher. But to me, Tennessee is a very difficult team to break down. Not a lot of priorities in terms of the hierarchy of who gets that usage.
How do you figure you're going to break down or kind of prioritize, if anything, these pass catchers for Tennessee now that you've got AJ Brown back, Alex, you have Julio Jones seemingly perfectly fine, which is surprising to me. Wouldn't be surprised if he re-aggravates something early in this game, but I guess you can't really play it that way. And then once you get past them, who are you really dealing with, right? Like there's Westbrook Akina, Chester Rogers, Jeff Swaim, Anthony Ferkser. It's not pretty. Hollister, it gets ugly behind those guys.
Dude, you just named all the guys in my lineup.
That's good.
But yeah, I think that the biggest star on Tennessee right now is AJ Brown, and it's a really interesting situation because he's coming back from injury today. We don't really know what that means, and he has a chest injury, so I really don't have much perspective on how that would impact performance, or possibly if he's not going to have as much playing time as usual. I would think like the playing time shouldn't like really depend on this injury, but like it's hard because they didn't really like say what the injury is. I'm just like, it could be anything.
I know. Look, when it comes to AJ Brown, Ben, I think we know he's the best receiver on this team. Tannehill could really, get some of the cavalry back after being seriously, his pass catchers have been his offensive weapons, as a matter of fact, over the past several weeks have been on par with like the Jets. I mean, they've been Jets. What?
I knew you were going to say the Jets. There's so many bad teams, but everyone goes right to the Jets because it's true.
All right. You know what I should have said? I should have said there's one worse than that, but they have Brandon Cooks. Well, I was going to say Houston, like Brandon Cooks is on COVID on the COVID reserve. Without him, their number one is Nico Collins. Yeah.
Yeah, that's bad. But it's true. I mean, again, I think there's a lot of unknowns, and that's a good thing for Showdown. That gives opportunity to one of these guys. AJ Brown could be, we know motivation. That's one thing we didn't really talk about. Both these teams are in the thick of it. They need this game. This is a big time game. So if these guys can play, it's not like coaches are going to be saving them for a more important game. This is a very, very important game for both teams. The Titans are missing some guys up front. I think that's another problem for Tennessee. Tannehill gets some weapons back on the outside, but he might be under a lot of heat from the pass rush. So, I mean, AJ Brown's clearly the guy that's, I think, most likely to have a big time game on the outside, but I don't feel super confident in that either, just given the unknowns.
I'll be honest with you. I love AJ. I've come around to AJ Brown in the captain spot, being a great, when I say great, I just mean an area where, like, if he wasn't coming back from the IR, he'd probably be a lot more than 7% captain, because he's not even that expensive. He's 88. If he's 8,800 in the flex, that's not a lot for a guy that can be a legit alpha receiver.
I think the thing I like about him at the captain is when you're doing Showdown, you got to get it right. So if he's limited, you might as well go all or nothing, because if he's limited, you're in trouble if he's in your flex too. So if he's not, might as well take your big swing with AJ Brown and hope you get healthy AJ Brown, who is a steal at the value right now based on the tools in terms of captain ownership. So I'm with you there, Lofty. I think why not up the risk and hope maybe AJ Brown is completely fine. That's obviously in the range of outcomes.
Yeah, and they already said he's going to be a full go for today. Yeah. So take that for what it's worth, Alex. But he is one of those spots that we like to at least talk about and speculate on, because in showdowns, when you have these uncertainties, right? When you have these guys where there's a big gray area, it can be used to your advantage.
Yeah, it can. It all depends on the ownership, because obviously this is something that's only possibly going to hurt you, not going to help you with AJ Brown. But he is a good enough player that maybe he's worth gambling on. And right now the captain ownership is coming in at around 7%. So it does look like people are kind of feeling AJ Brown today, but it's still a reasonable play.
What do you think of Julio?
I'm not really feeling Julio. He just hasn't been getting the playing time. I know he got injured like partway through the last game, but he's only played on about 60% of snaps in each of the last 2 weeks. So I'm a little bit hesitant to really put a ton of faith into Julio.
Ben, Matt earlier on today's show went on as a straight diatribe, apoplectic about the fact that Tennessee drafted Racy McMath. What do you know about Racy McMath?
Nope.
No?
No, who is that?
He's like, they drafted a dude who was the number 5 for LSU.
I was going to say LSU, but I still don't know what position Mr. Macbeth plays.
McMath.
Whatever. I've been saying that Denzel, whatever. Anyway, what is the point of this diatribe? I still don't know what we're talking about.
It's a funny name.
Oh, that's it?
That's it, yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought that was somehow impacting Julio.
Do you like Julio?
I mean, I do think the return of AJ Brown can help, because the target should be much more efficient, and it wasn't like he was getting there on a volume basis already. And I think you could look at it 2 ways. He's not playing as much, as many snaps as I want, but as we've seen throughout the year, they're going to be, and Luff, you bring this up a lot, he doesn't need to be out there a ton if when he's out there, they give him the ball and they target him. So I think there are scenarios where he'll have very quality snaps. He'll have a high target share in that realm. He doesn't need to be out there 80% of the snaps or anything, but clearly I think we've seen now the floor with Julio is non-existent, and just with the Titans risky, the risk profile is high, but he does fit into some of my lineups tonight.
Ben, sticking with you here, because we will talk about these running backs, then we'll build a lineup as well. We'll hit on Hall of Fame quickly just to induct everyone who's had some big weeks. We had a 50K winner the other day, which I'm pretty excited about. Are there any other pass catchers, tight ends, maybe third, any receivers that you want to get to for the Titans?
I mean, again, the showdown mentality, you're looking the Ferksters, the Swains of the world, you're drawing to a touchdown. I think you're going to be talking about that with the backs as well. You've got a 3-headed monster in that backfield. It's not, am I looking to get to any of these guys? No, but I think by a product of sometimes paying up for a Kittle or a Deebo at captain, you're forced to go into that range. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with landing on like McNichols in the backfield or one of the tight ends, and anything like that, I think is a worthwhile GPP target.
You like Racy McMath?
Well, he's captain only, I would say.
Okay. Alex, any other secondary, tertiary options here for the pass catchers?
I'd say McMath, just because I feel like we've been jinxing him. So it's like he's definitely gonna put some egg on our face. But
dude, how about Smith Marset getting the touchdown on primetime the other night?
Dorsett,
I'm sorry. Yeah. Smith Marset Dorsett.
That did happen because DD Westbrook was out. So that I think we had it. We were right there, but it wasn't a primetime game.
Yeah, you're right. Do you have any other options here? Or are you just staying away for the most part for these options, or these guys outside of Julio, or mostly like an AJ Brown?
Well, I think that one guy that I might try to avoid is Nick Westbrook, just because he's the most likely, in my opinion, to be impacted with AJ Brown coming back. But then the tight ends are really tough because none of them play more than half of the snaps running routes. So Ferkser and Swain are both out there between 40 and 50%. Michael Pruitt's about 20 to 30. So it's just not anything you can get too excited about.
All right, let's talk about these running backs. And hey, one more time, hit that thumbs up. We're 36 away from 300. Greatly appreciate it. About 1,500 people watching right now. If you haven't done so, it takes 1 second if you like this content, and we greatly appreciate it. It also helps us a ton. Otherwise, we wouldn't be asking. And subscribe to the channel. Help us get to that coveted 69,420. All right, so 720 Red Dog Waffy. Let's get drunk. Yeah, all right, guy. So with the backfield for the Titans right now, Ben, last 2 weeks, and I'm only using the last 2 weeks because McNichols was out prior to that. Like at some, and then you had Adrian Peterson in before that. But the last 2 weeks, we've actually had a decent amount of information. D'Onta Foreman, 55% of carries out of the backfield, not including Tannehill, obviously. Hilliard, 23%, McNichols, 22%. And then the target share, Hilliard is at 13%, Foreman's at 8%, McNichols is at 6%. That's target share over the last 2 weeks. So you get a decent idea of how they're being used. Foreman clearly is the lead back, but they're not afraid to mix in a Dontrell Hilliard, which I think is interesting.
Definitely. I think you do have different guys for different game scripts. Certainly Foreman is most relatable to like Wilson on the other side. I think Hilliard is kind of the guy in the middle. He can contribute in both areas. And then McNichols to me would be the least likely to really have a good amount of carries in the game. He's mostly going to get it done, through the air. But to me, I kind of like that because at least it's more defined than the mess that's the receiving game. If I think for some reason the Titans lead throughout or just can run the ball really effectively, that would be Foreman. He's the guy I think is the only one who's live for like a really damaging rushing yards total. But I think Hilliard is certainly in play with his combination, can rack up easy PPR points through the air.
Alex, talk to me about the backfield here. Where do you come in on these guys and how many of them are viable to you?
Well, I think Foreman is definitely number one, but he's priced like a 2. He's 7,600. Still in a lineup with a lot of Tennessee Titans, you might want to get Foreman because it's the same thing as Wilson, as you were saying, where he's going to thrive if the team is getting a lot of rushing attempts. Where Hilliard, his role is kind of more game script proof because he gets a little bit of work in each area. I think Foreman's probably going to get most of the goal line carries. So Hilliard and McNichols, it's hard to like see a huge breakout performance, but I mean that you gotta have some value plays that are in your lineups, and McNichols and Hilliard fit that bill.
Are you willing to roster them together?
No, I don't. If it's McNichols and Hilliard, you're really trying to get those routes for each one, so I don't really see.
What about Foreman and Hilliard? That was who I was speaking to mostly.
Okay,
Foreman and McNichols.
Foreman and one of the other guys is fine because they're not really like eating each other's production. It's like passing downs, it'll be McNichols or Hilliard, and then rushing downs will be Foreman.
Yeah, I think that's kind of an interesting approach, Ben. I mean, I don't necessarily know how much Tannehill you want to have in those lineups, but I have no problem having like Tannehill, Brown, Hilliard lineups because with Hilliard, you could get to 6-7 carries, but also maybe 5-6 targets as well. That's kind of intriguing. I think you could argue that he's almost a little underpriced today.
Yeah, I think that if you have Hilliard in your lineup, it's actually a boost to Tannehill. Like
for sure.
Yeah, I'm with you there. If you go double up, I mean, again, then I think you're talking about a very specific game script. And listen, it's one game. We see this all the time. That would change things for me. You're really drawing to a low scoring game, an ugly game, which could happen. But there is no doubt that pairing Tannehill with one of the backs is something that could be very effective tonight.
Of these backs, which one do you like the most? Obviously adjusting for price.
It would be Hilliard for me. I think just his combination, he's going to get a couple opportunities on the ground more than a guy like McNichols, but he's not going to be an afterthought in the passing game like Foreman.
Okay. Alex, if you had to pick one, who's your favorite adjusted for price of McNichols, Foreman, and Hilliard?
Foreman.
Okay. What about if you're talking about all of these cheap ones, McNichols, Hasty, use check? Because these are the questions people are going to have, right? Especially hand building, single entry, all of the non-Jeff Wilson Foreman running backs.
So I think Hilliard and McNichols are some. Hilliard's probably number one. We've seen him get there. He could have a big role if he's performing well. McNichols is probably second, and then Juszczyk. Hasty's the last one for me because he just hasn't been playing very much.
All right. So is there anything else we want to hit on, Ben, for the Tennessee Titans? Did you want to talk Tannehill, captain, flex, whatever, any optimal spots that you think we should be getting to here that we've missed on?
No, I mean, I think again, Tannehill, he's mobile, he can score, so you can do some weird things with him, and he's obviously a QB, so they're always in play. Tennessee's defense is not going to be a super popular pick. It's a defense you need to hope, obviously, for fluke turnovers, things like that. Same with their kicker. I would rather have the San Francisco side of both of those, but again, I think so would everyone else. So if you have enough lineups and you're building a portfolio, those are the type of plays that if you strike lightning in a bottle could separate you.
Okay. Got a couple super chats here that we should hit on. Our boy Alex, how do I pronounce it? Vu what?
Oh, I don't know. I just know his name's Vu.
He's just like share.
All right. Vu boy. We'll call him Vu.
I think it's probably Boy. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll call him Vu. She says, shout out to Alex for being such a cool dude. Another $100 super chat. This weekend, I took 9th at the FFWC using Awesemo tools and content. We should be paying you for this, bro. Got to hang out with Alex after the event, and you could tell he was genuinely happy for me. Just wanted to give back to you guys a bit. Yeah, I mean, that's like the biggest compliment you get is you're humble and you're actually happy for people when they win. I'd be happy for people when they win, when I win millions of dollars.
Dude,
I'm kidding.
Vu killed it too. He had like a Tyler Huntley and Mark Andrews stack.
Oh, for
so
real?
He had like the perfect core.
He went. Did he have one entry?
He had one. Yeah. The problem was
Huntley?
he had Bateman too. So I think did Bateman put up 0? That was brutal.
Yeah. And Marcus Brown. Marcus Brown had, I think it was like 13 targets or something, or 10 targets and 7 receptions. No, 10 receptions on 14 targets. Do you know what his longest reception was on the day? 7 yards on 10 different receptions. His longest catch was 7 yards.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's hard to do.
Yeah, it's really hard to do. But that's rough. Yeah, Bateman had 1.5.
Yeah, so he was right there, man. Like,
that's tilting.
He did way better than me, though. I had like 7 lineups and none of them did squad. So Vu definitely killed it.
Well, appreciate you, man. I hope you have a great Christmas, dude. Sam says, Laffy, when are you and Josh going to do a show together again so we can revisit that convo about him not being bothered to pick up a 20 off the street? Yeah, I mean, that's egregious. Soon. We'll be doing them once football's over, so it should be soon enough. He said, Vu Boy says, Chess is okay with not be happy for me if I, no, he would no. He'd be like, that's not bad. But 500 of that should go to 20 minutes of our coaching session with me, and I'll get you better. Any other super chats? I think we did, Ben, right? We have more?
Yeah, so I'll, you want me to just rapid fire some of them?
Yeah, go with Diniz.
We got high dollar DK single entry, Kittle at captain, last 2 in Tannehill, Jimmy G, or Deebo, AJ Brown. So I don't know if he means like pick one quarterback and pick one receiver, or is he asking play both quarterbacks or play both receivers?
Is this super chat like from a while ago? Because I don't even see it.
Yeah. I mean, you got to scroll. I
scrolled and I ran out of room. Oh no, I got it. Okay. That is the Diniz one. My fault. Tannehill, Garoppolo, or Deebo and AJ Brown with Kittle at captain.
I mean, I would play the quarterbacks if I was.
Yeah.
If that's what you're asking.
Well, if you're gonna go Deebo and Kittle without Tannehill or without Garoppolo, that seems a little bit sketchy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Unless Deebo gets there rushing.
I still think you're drawing to a pretty
I think
thin
you're
out.
right.
We had a couple other, we had Titans are more of a run heavy team. So flex Titans running back is the play tonight. I say you go Niners heavy play Kyle Juszczyk, Deebo, Kittle. So just basically that same concept, stack up the Niners. We had one from Ted. Should I play Kittle or Tannehill in cash? Both good cash plays. I would play Kittle though.
So would I. And let me just say, going with a Tennessee stack, I don't think is the craziest idea either. If everyone's loving this 49ers team, obviously it's a 1-game slate. There's going to be a lot of Tennessee too, but how many times has Tennessee come out and just surprised everybody and you go, oh wow, they're just routing their opponent. I get that they've had Derrick Henry most of the time, but getting a couple guys back in the pass catching game could make a difference. I don't know. We'll see. Anything else? I think there was one more. Cardinals are pretty bad, but I mean, they lost to the Lions. I say they're actually worse than the Jets. I mean, maybe he's referencing something else we were talking about, but no, definitely not worse than the Jets. And then Ted says, should I play Kittle or oh, you already got that, Ben. Okay. Yep. So I think we covered them, right? If you got any more super chats questions, happy to answer them. And obviously, if you guys are already in our premium Discord, I'll always hit on them, like DFF Focus or DF Focus. Question for the guys: single entry San Francisco onslaught lineup. Alex, I'll go to you here. Kittle or Deebo in the captain. The other one will be in the flex, so no Jimmy Garoppolo.
Okay, so if you don't have Jimmy Garoppolo, I'd say put Deebo at your captain because he can get there without Jimmy getting any points. Where Kittle, if he has a huge day, Jimmy is going to at least have a good day. So I would recommend putting Jimmy in there, but if you don't have him, Deebo is the obvious captain.
For sure. And if you want to get in the Discord chat, I'll make this quick because I want to get to all your guys' questions and build a lineup here. But NFL Showdown LBL, ridiculous promo, but that's what it is. NFL Showdown LBL, all one word, all caps, gets you 25% off the first week of Awesemo Plus Platinum. Every single sport, every tool we have, you name it, all of it on the site, 25% off. And if you want to check out something less, maybe the wallet's a little bit tight coming around the holidays, well, $3.95, less than $4. You get our Express NFL Pass, everything for tiers, a lot of main site content. But the biggest thing, all of our Showdown tools are included. And you've got a lot of Showdown slates coming up. You get tonight, 2 Saturday, Sunday Night Football, Monday, a lot. So take advantage of that. That's an awesome, awesome package for less than $4 a week. And with Showdown contests being as big as they are, no reason not to take advantage of that. All right. Dope Heathen, Ben Lavi, Alex, hope you and the rest of the family, your crew and family have a great Christmas holiday. Thank you for the content. Hard to believe this year is almost over. I know, man. It's crazy. Appreciate you all for hanging out with us every day. The grind is real, boys. Let's go Awesemo Hall of Fame real quick. We'll build a lineup, and then we'll wish you guys some good luck. But I can't wait to build a large field lineup here. It's going to be interesting. If you want to get in on the Hall of Fame, awesemo.com/avatar. Download it. Finish top 3 in a field of 5,000 or more. Yahoo, FanDuel, DraftKings. Doesn't matter where it is. Tweet us at Awesemo HOF and get inducted into the Hall of Fame and win a free month of Awesemo Plus Platinum, $90 value, like the Prospect Chase, who took down $50K on a $7 entry on FanDuel. Christmas came early this year, he said, signed up for Awesemo on the 30th of November and took down $50K less than a month later. You love seeing that. Merry Christmas, bro. David Burton, nice Sunday afternoon slate. I forgot to post this, $3,000. Bad Santa, great name. Oh, it's trouble. Crack top 3 on the Monday, Tuesday, $2 single entry. Nice little win there. Tater, you watch Yellowstone? No. Tater? No. One of you guys eventually will know what I'm talking about. And then Kenneth with Malakar, what's up, man? Nice to see you, bro. Nice win. 8-time with the parlays coming in hot using Odd Shopper. And then Dave DeRemer using our parlay tool. Like I said, use it. It's sick. $100 in the 544. Congrats to everybody. Get in on it. Get inducted. Get that love on Twitter. Get your free month and all of that. And use that parlay. Ben, they got to use if they're not using the parlay builder at this point, I don't know what they're doing.
Totally free. Don't even need to sign up. Just go to oddchopper.com. All different types of parlays too. From the chalk eater to the dog day, big time payoffs, higher win percentage ones. It's really, really fun, totally customizable. So if you haven't been over there, again, no reason not to go check it out. If you say, you know what, this is a tool not for me, so be it. But I have a feeling once you get over there, you'll be coming back.
No doubt. Hey, let's build a lineup. I'll go captain because I think last week we did things a little bit differently. I'm going to go with, let's just try AJ Brown. Let's see what we come up with, Alex. Let's go AJ Brown and captain and see what we can build around it. You're up.
Well, I think Tannehill's the obvious. I gotta have an AJ Brown captain line.
All right. So we'll go AJ Brown and Tannehill, Ben.
So I think that one of the ways that that could work is that Jeff Wilson is just running wild on the other side.
Okay. All right. So we got Brown. We have Tannehill. We have Jeff Wilson. I can dig that. I'll go. You know what? I'm going to go Dontrell Hilliard. I like him in Tannehill and AJ Brown lineups. He opens up salary, gives us 94 per remaining 2 players. Alex, go ahead.
Who we got so far?
So we got AJ Brown. We have Tannehill. We have Jeff Wilson and Dontrell Hilliard. We have 94 remaining per player.
The pressure's on. I gotta go kicker here. So let's go.
Not per. No, we have 18,800 remaining for the last 2.
Oh damn, that's too much to go kicker, isn't it?
Yeah. I
I mean,
you can, but
I guess we gotta go with the San Francisco receiver maybe, and go with let's go with Kittle. I guess I think he's
I'm all about
good in any lineup.
I'm all about it. Ben, what about you?
well, now I got to go kicker.
You can.
Yeah. I mean, I really think there's limited options at this point. You're in no man's land. You could go to Jennings, but that doesn't make a ton of sense. You could go to the Niners defense, I think is really interesting. Like if you're trying to limit dupes and you're going for like the whole thing, I think Jeff Wilson with the Niners defense and Kittle is a very interesting build. You're leaving a lot of money on the table, but 3,800 is nothing out of the ordinary on a showdown.
For sure. You could go Foreman too.
You could, but it zeroes out. And I'm adamantly against doing that in a large field tournament.
Yeah. I'm not saying you should, but that you can, if you're playing, like, I don't even think that's the craziest small field tournament lineup right there. If you were to go Foreman, like a single entry type lineup.
Yeah. I mean, that's where you're just kind of balancing risk reward.
Yeah.
Clearly, I think Foreman is more likely to outscore the kicker and the Niners defense more often than not. But again,
got to be different
sometimes.
I dig it. All right. Got a couple questions coming in. We got 5 minutes to lock. And I'll say this in advance. If we don't see you guys, I mean, I'll be back tomorrow for the Saturday strategy show, 8 a.m. with Matt Savoca. I'm sure you guys got some stuff going on as well. But what's wrong, Tyler? Oh, yeah, you're producing. Appreciate you making those adjustments for me. But if we don't see any of you guys, have a great Christmas, a safe one for sure. And it's been a phenomenal year. We've had a great time hanging out with you. Take a couple questions here. Alex, what do you have as far as Kittle at captain, Samuel, both kickers, AJ 49ers D for DraftKings. Dude, these ones make my head spin. Samuel at MVP, AJ Kittle, both kickers. So he's basically just giving you his lineups. What do you think?
Yeah, I think, okay, so we got Samuel at MVP, AJ Kittle, and the kickers. Okay, so if you have Samuel and Kittle without Jimmy Garoppolo, I feel like that is a little bit risky. I don't think Jimmy Garoppolo is like overly owned either. So I might try to get him instead of one of the kickers and then maybe make a couple swaps.
All right. So Ben, if I were to ask you, who wins this game, what is the score tonight? What would your answer be?
So I do lean to the Niners. I went back and forth on if I was actually going to bet them. I like the over definitely more. I'm going to say that the Niners win 31-20.
31-20. Okay.
Yep.
I got the Titans winning this game.
Okay. I mean, the Titans are a random number generator, so I get it.
What'd you say?
I said the Titans are a random number generator. Like, I remember when that was one of my better things with the Jets earlier in the year. And it was like unforeseen that they could knock off a team. Like the Titans lose to terrible teams. They beat up on good teams. Very hard team to predict.
That's why I never hate them as home dogs, because just like you said, they're still a decent enough team. Hell, they're second in the West or the AFC, but granted, they have not looked very good lately. I'm going 24-21 Tennessee Titans victory. 720. I Red Dog, I think, is trying to like shame me because I said I think the Titans win earlier. There's no shame there, bro. I don't think this is. I don't think it's a hot. They're field goal dogs at home. It's not a hot take. Alex, you got a favorite bet for tonight?
I'm feeling the Deebo Samuel over on receiving yards. It started off at 40, which I was like, oh my God, he's averaged 80 this year. So like, how can you not take that? That was my favorite.
That is steamed all day, by the way. I did a short form video for us that went out on Twitter and TikTok of all places. And it was up to 45. Now I see it at 47. So it just shows getting these lines early, taking advantage of Discord and stuff where we drop those plays. It can really, really pad the bankroll because they move wildly throughout the day.
Yeah. And Deebo's rushing prop has come down in a lot of spots as well. Maybe a little bit of correlation there. Ben, final thoughts before many people head out for the holidays and we get some football going tonight.
Yeah, just good luck. Enjoy the game. Obviously, I don't really have anything else to say on the game. I'm not going to see you guys. I'm taking a couple days off. So obviously, happy holidays to everyone. Just enjoy yourselves, spend time. I know it's been a rough year for a lot of people. We hope on a semi-serious note that these shows, even if it's just for an hour, a welcome distraction for a lot of people out there. We love doing it. We hope you guys enjoy it as much as we do. So just genuinely happy holidays for everyone, whether you're having a great year or not so good a year.
Alex, wrap it up for us.
Yeah, guys. It should be a fun game, but yeah, it's holiday season. So I saw everyone saying happy Festivus in the chat. So happy Festivus, Merry Christmas, and happy holidays.
That's right. We'll see you guys very soon. Again, strategy show for Saturday, tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. We still got a lot of content. We don't sleep here at Awesemo. Christmas Day, deeper dive live before lock for football, deeper dive live before lock for basketball. So if you're lonely, you're home alone, well, make us your friends. We'll give you some company for the holidays. If not, we'll catch you back here after that. We'll see you soon. It's the Awesemo Showdown live before lock presented by No House Advantage. Oh, and shout out to Tyler Zander as always for producing the show. Peace.